Today we're going to finish turn this platter. It's not huge. I'm guessing that's about 16 inches, maybe 15. And I believe it's elm. It's got some spalting on both sides. And sadly, it's got this one very bad crack. I don't know if you can see it, but it cracked very badly here. So we will not be able to go really thin on this because it just won't be any way to support it. I may open it up even further and then fill it with epoxy, I'm not sure. But it's measuring about 5% moisture. So I think it's ready to finish turn. So we'll get set up. We'll do that. Well, I have never had this happen. You can see how far out of round the bowl has gone up here. But here on the tenon, there is no wobble. That thing basically stayed square. Even though there's a little bit out of round there. I have never seen that before. Wow. Live and learn. Now we've cut that flush. And what I'm going to have to do now is work on the back a little. A little more light on it. See that nasty crack. So I want to get that nice and even there. And then patch that on the outside. I don't think I'm going to be able to do much with this until I get some epoxy in this. It's just too nasty. I don't know whether I should try to take out this spot. But I just can't keep it from bouncing. Well, I think I'll turn it around and true up the front, and then I'll stop and I don't want to risk getting into where I hit that crack before I get epoxy in it. And the last thing I need to do is true up this edge. And then I'll stop and put the epoxy on it. That looks pretty true. Not exactly the shape I'm looking for, but looks pretty good. Now what color to put in there? That's an interesting problem. I have to think about this. You can see my dilemma. This goes way down in there, which is another dilemma in that I got to somehow stop that thing from cracking clear down in there, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know if epoxy is going to run that far. I may add a little heat to some 5-minute epoxy and see if I can get it to run down there before it seizes up. Here you can see how I've glued it. I mixed a little Jimmy Clu's synthetic sand, this is gold colored, with the epoxy. I heated the epoxy a little bit with the heat gun as I applied it, and it got super runny. I had quite the time keeping it from running away from where I wanted it, which is when I started applying the tape. But I need to let it set up for at least a whole day before I turn it, so I won't be turning on this anymore today. But hopefully, once I get this trimmed off, then it won't bounce so bad as I'm turning it, and I'll be able to get a better cut on the back. And then as we do the front, we're going to cut into that spot of epoxy, and hopefully it'll be solid. But if my experience is any indicator, we'll have some spots to fill once we get into it. You can see how thin it was. This all ran out of there. And that epoxy is really thick when it's first mixed up. But boy, you'd add a touch of heat to it and it just goes liquid. Very cool. All right, we'll have to pick this up another day. Well, I went ahead and popped the tape off. It's not finished yet, not cured. I wanted to see how well I did. I got a nice air bubble right there. The front side did super good. I don't know how it'll be inside. You can see it's still a little soft. That air bubble though, I may just leave it there for the sake of fun. Santa George here, and today we're going to see if we can get a little further on this elm platter. I started it the other day and then stopped when I needed to glue this nasty crack. I'll give you a better view of that. You can see it runs into the front. Down the back, I did get a bad air bubble right there, but I think I'm going to turn most of that away. Maybe not all of it though, but I think we'll call it character. The rest of the bowl is nice and clean, or the platter I mean, but it had this one very, very big crack. I don't know how good a job I did getting the epoxy to flow down into that. I'm especially worried about it back here. But we'll see when we start turning. So, let's get started. Oh, that's much nicer. Let's see if we can catch that edge a little bit. Well, that chipped it a little bit. Take that sharp edge off. So I don't cut myself with it. Well, that's better. Got a little ridge on the transition, but that will sand out really easily. That looks pretty good, actually. Let's put a little sanding with it to see how it's going to look. Yeah, sanding exposes your tool marks. Okay, that's sanded up through 400. Seems pretty good. Very smooth. I'm really curious how this gold is going to show, if at all. So I think we're going to put some sanding sealer on it now, just the big old. I left that big old bubble in place. This is a wimpy sized brush. All right. Throw that brush away. I don't ever want to use it again. We'll let that dry slowly. And we'll take a break. So here we see how much thickness we have at the base. So we've got maybe 5/8 of an inch there, while the rim of the bowl is still 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches thick. So one of the first things we got to do is true up this angle here so that we have a more realistic rim, unless we want a rim for a feature. But even if I do, I want it much more slanted so it's not so thick. I don't want this platter to be super heavy. So my goal is going to be to follow the outside contour and get everything down to about 5/8 of an inch. Let's see how. So right here we're much thicker because of the foot. But out here we're about 1 inch thick. Well, that's much thicker than that. So I need about 1/4 inch to come off of there, and then more here. So that's what we'll work on next. Get some light. make sure we don't have that crack opening up. Nope, not so far. You see where it's going to open up right here. I assume that's what's making that howl. Might turn the speed down just a little bit and see if it clears it up. There it is. We've got epoxy here on this edge, but nothing down here so far. Oh, look at this. I've had the camera pointed the wrong way. Now we're at about a ½ inch down there, so we're still a little bit too wide here. So we're coming in, we need to go in a little bit further here. That or we need to cut that bump off. You could argue that might be the greater part of the valve, since I need to return this edge anyway. I just hope this crack doesn't open up down in there. Maybe I'll take a second and put some CA in there. I'm sure I'll turn that right out, but until I do, I feel better. Oh, good, we got to some more epoxy. That's good. I want to see, I wonder how wide that is. Okay, so we still got slope here. I want to make sure I was still maintaining the slope, but I definitely do. So that's good. About 1/8 of an inch between here and here. That's kind of some tear out there. I don't like that. I think I can trust this glue joint up here. It looks like it went clear through. So I think we got a good bond through here. A little thick right here, but I think that's okay. I'll come back around to the back and clean that up. It feels like it should have a little bit of taper right here. There's something going on right here. I think it's deeper right here than it is there. It isn't borne out by the... Oh yeah, it is. It's a little high right there. This will probably get a good burr on here. Yeah, so you get a little tear out with that negative rake unless it's super sharp. It's like it needs to be sharpened again. But the truth is, my intent is to make one more pass now with the gouge, and that'll be the final inside edge. I got to cut off this stuff that I just raised up with this silicone. And I'm going to sharpen again here before I do that. I'm getting a little, see, I'm getting a little texture there. You just see the ripples. Oh, I still got it. That's probably from my cut like this to clean up those ridges. Nuts. There we go. That looks better. We got some tool marks we got to get out, but we can do that with sanding. Well, let's see what flaws a sanding sealer can find on this side. I've got to go back and fix some flaws on the other side. I guess it only makes sense that I find more here. Now we'll let that dry up. Just take a little off this edge here. That'll be perfect. We'll give Yorkshire Grit another try. I love the way it creates a smooth finish. Oh, it's hot. Sure does leave it pretty. Extremely smooth. I'm going to do the same thing to the back. I don't think we'll record that since you've already seen it. Anna George here. Well, today I think we'll finish this bowl. All I need that's left to do is take off the tenon, clean up this bottom a little bit. I'm using my Longworth chuck for the first time. And you can see it handles this 15.5-inch bowl easily. Now, can I take the tailstock away and turn that nub off? I like that. So now to make it look like the rest, we'll go through the exact same finishing process. I'll put some sanding sealer on it. And then I will sand most of it off. Then I'll sign it and finish it with Yorkshire grit. And I'm going to do it all while it's on the chuck here so I can spin it up. I don't think I'll show the rest of it because I don't think it's any different than before. So I'll pop back later, maybe when I'm putting on the Yorkshire grit. Well, the sun coming through the windows bright now. And they forecast serious hail today. And they're so sure about it that we haven't got home, go home from work early. That was a new one. Still got a little wax on the surface, but that turned out pretty good. I just love that grain. Little tracks of spalting through it. And then the big crack right here, filled with epoxy. It doesn't even show up unless you know it's there. Back looks just as good. I got my one little flaw there where I got a bubble in the epoxy. Wonder if I can see through that in the sunlight. Nope. Well, I like that. I guess that's all. Thanks for watching.